The final thing we have to do at this point by way of votes is our own electoral procedures. Now, I did have a word with the assessor about this in advance of the Synod. The diocesan rules make clear that in normal circumstances, people who've already received their paper ballots cast them up to 10 minutes after the rising of the Synod in the designated ballot box in the Synod Hall. The assessor and I agree that the Synod itself has the power to trump its own rules, particularly in present circumstances. So what we want to do is to continue the postal ballot, which has already started, to confirm that it is indeed in order and that papers received on or before next Friday will be duly counted. I did use the perhaps unfortunate word that we are in this matter legitimately trumping our own rules, but I hope there won't be any Trumpian difficulties about the admissibility of any particular papers. So please make sure that the mail-in votes are with us on or before next Friday, and that they would then be counted by the designated scrutineers, with lay people counting the clerical votes and vice versa. And obviously this will all be done in a socially distanced and appropriate way, which may take longer than usual before you hear therefore the exciting results. Can I just remind you that, as I said before, if you're a supplementalist, you're not part of this voting. The voting rights attached to the original member. Could I really appeal to people to get their papers in, because we want as full and as representative an electorate as possible, bearing in mind that we're doing important things like electing members of the General Synod as well as to our own councils, and we're electing people who will be members of the Electoral College, some of whom would be involved in electing bishops for other dioceses in the province of Dublin, all of whom would be involved in electing bishop for this diocese should a vacancy arise in the coming triennium. Not something I anticipate, but I hope, but you never know. And, furthermore, this is an important thing, and it's not for me to influence the voting unduly, but bear in mind when you're electing members of the General Synod, the members who are elected to the General Synod from each diocese then elect the 4 people who are on the standing committee of the General Synod, which really is the kind of engine room of the life of the church all through the year centrally. And one of those members who's a clerical member and one of those members who's a lay member must be under 45. So just to make sure as you vote that you're careful about the age spread so that we get good representation in the sub-constituencies of the membership of the Standing Committee. That was a long speech about the voting procedure. Would somebody be kind enough to propose the motion concerning elections? Somebody be kind enough to propose the motion?
I propose it, Joan Jackson, Kiltegan.
Thank you very much from Kiltegan. And is there a seconder?
I'll second that, Bishop.
Thank you. And I don't think it's anything that somebody would need to speak to unless there's any lack of clarity. In which case we put it to you that the motion concerning elections be passed. And again, we'll get a poll. Are we stuck? If you're against this, would you please shout very loudly or in some way indicate your dissent? I'm taking it it's passed. Okay, thank you very much. Which brings us to the conclusion of the various formalities and elections.